Prabhuji, in the quote on chanting, we read that we should read Srimad Bhagavatam with a lot of scrutiny. And we have heard a lot of times that we should not just read Prabhupada books, but we should study Prabhupada books. I just want an elaboration on what does it mean when it is said that study of Srila Prabhupada books should be done. And how can we study?
Thank you very much for that nice question. Scrutiny. Just think how we used to read our school or college books when we were expecting to give exams. So, for example, I remember in school days, the maths for mathematics subjects, for example, in our high school grades, I used to take up mathematics digest, previous year's exams, and I would sit down throughout, right from the beginning of the year. I would sit down and actually try to do all those papers and see how much time it takes for me to finish, and how much percentage I get. Throughout the year, we used to do that practice, and that was mainly in order to evaluate not only I know the subject matter, but I can finish the exam in timely manner. And because we put the sincere effort, you get the results. So similarly, when you're taking scrutiny, you are getting the, if you're reading some literature like Prabhupada's books or any spiritual literature, then if we are really serious about it, we will try to study as we studied our school books with proper scrutiny. And scrutiny means if I don't understand subject matter, I just don't skip and move forward. Of course, some subject matter requires some tapasya to be performed to understand. But I understand that, okay, this subject matter for understanding, I need to perform some tapasya, which I may not be ready now. But with proper understanding, only you move forward. And just like in our school also, when we attend the class, we also used to take notes. Even in college, we used to make notes. So similarly, when you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, read attentively, understand the subject matter, and move with properly making notes. Move forward with making proper notes. That's the meaning of scrutiny. And also, it's not that I read today and then after 10 days I'll pick up the book again. So Prabhupada uses two words, Gita, Dhyana, Shilas. So Prabhupada mentions there, one should read Bhagavad Gita with sincerity and scrutiny. So scrutiny means I understand subject matter, then only I move forward. But sincerity means every single day I spend some time with the literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Another question which I had was in Vaishnava etiquettes, as we read that familiarity breeds contempt shouldn't become a norm, and we should not call devotees by their karmi names. But if the family is devotees, Prabhuji, calling them by karmi names and familiarity, that just happens automatically. I mean, we are not so practiced to see the family members as devotees and deal with them in that way. So how can we do that, Prabhuji?
Just like, you don't have to do practice. It becomes natural for you to call the family members by karmi name. Similarly, if you put little practice, like, if you are calling your sister, instead of calling Jaya, you can say Jai Shri Radhe. So if you just put a sincere effort initially, within a few weeks, you will see it will be natural. She may also feel a little awkward that, oh, why my sister is calling me by that name? She's accustomed to different, but slowly and gradually it becomes a norm. I mean, I know in our home also, initially, when Govindriya was not initiated, I used to call her by name, Gayatri, but once she got initiated, made sure that I always call her by the name Govinda Priya.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, it's just a little practice. That actually brings it has twofold advantage. One is it reminds us of, when you're supposed calling the devotees by the devotional name, you remember Krishna or Srimati Radharani. You invariably end up in remembering. So that automatically also brings a reverential relationship in proper etiquette, that, oh, this person is actually part and parcel of Krishna. It reminds us that he's part and parcel of Krishna. I cannot misbehave with anyone, especially with the Vaishnava circle. I cannot afford to misbehave because they are part and parcel of Krishna. They are dear to Krishna because they are practicing Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it's very natural to become, what says, familiarity breeds contempt. There's Chanakya, there's a nice quote in this regard. He says, Ati parichad avigya atat anadaro bhavati. Malayala balapurandri chandanam kuru kasha indhanam kurute. So Chanakya Pandit says, too much familiarity brings disrespect. Ati paricha. Ati paricha means becoming too, what do you call, paricha means to know, but ati paricha means becoming too close or familiar with each other. Brings anadaro bhavati, brings disrespect for the other person. Just like, let me give you an example. Malaya. Malaya is a hill which is known for chandan. So you know how costly or how precious the chandan is. We pay, maybe some thousands of rupees, or sometimes hundreds of dollars just to get a small piece of sandalwood. Okay. But a lady who's living in Malaya Hills, Bhillapuramri, means a cannibal lady who's living in the Malaya Hills. For her, chandan is everywhere. So she takes chandan and puts in the stove for cooking the food. Malaya Bhillapurandri, chandanam kuru kashta indhanam kurute. She used chandan as indhan, the fuel for cooking the food. So similarly, when a person becomes too, because she has chandan everywhere, so therefore she uses chandan for, fuel. But that doesn't mean that, that is a appropriate or right thing to do. So similarly, when we start taking devotees lightly or become too close with them in a material way, we start offending. And that's very detrimental to our Krishna consciousness.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Prankupka Devi Tulsi. Prabhuji, actually today in the Vaishnava etiquettes, the first point, we must never allow the saying familiarity breeds contempt to enter into the relations between the devotees. Dealings between devotees should be respectful and without offense and duplicitousness. So what is this mean, Prabhu?
Duplicitousness, okay. So duplicitousness is nothing but, to make a show of something that really doesn't exist in us. So just trying to make a show of whether it's possessing some quality or possessing some virtue or possessing some things, trying to make a show of that is actually duplicity. So, or duplicity means also, you mean something else, but you say something else. So that's a duplicity in talks, and duplicity in actions means you try to hide or you try to show something that you don't really have, or you try to hide something that is, you think that will be detrimental, or so in simple way, a person who's not really simple at heart and his dealings are not really straightforward and simple, that is the meaning of duplicity.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. So,
Mataji, I want to continue with that. Can I go forward?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Prabhuji, recently I heard from our Sangha, fake it until you make it. If it is not, recently, this year only I heard that, and it's good also. Well, while you are dealings with, even it is fake, if your dealings are okay, you can go forward. What does that mean by Prabhuji? I just contrasting what you said right now.
Very good question, Manvi. This saying that fake it till you make it is in context to trying to develop some devotional qualities or trying to do some service which, even though I don't like it, but I do it. Like, say, for example, when it comes to chanting, you know, most of the time you feel that, okay, when the chanting is going to get over. But still, sometimes you go out of way and try to chant 25 or 30 rounds. Okay. And that is that sometimes may appear that, oh, you're trying to just make a show that you like chanting, which may be true, which may be reality that I really don't like, but I'm just chanting just for the sake of chanting, and it may appear to others as a show off, but that is something is desirable. That kind of effort is desirable, even though I don't have liking, but I try to make a show that I'm actually chanting more because I like it, is perfectly fine. Similarly, in any form of devotional service, sometimes, if you are asked in the temple to clean the pots, and you may think, oh, I don't like this service, but then you go enthusiastically and try to make sure that you are really liking this service. And devotees come and end up in giving you service again, that you don't like it, but you still do it as if you are really liking it, is something desirable. But when it comes to sense gratification, then you try to make a show off, is something that is detrimental to one's Krishna consciousness. That should not be done. So, I really don't have actually money, but I try to, buy some expensive, kind of furniture or expensive things and just make a show to everyone that, see, I have, I can afford everything. That kind of, show off or that kind of duplicity actually is very detrimental, because that creates tremendous anxiety for the person in life.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Pranagupta Mataji, go ahead.
No problem, Mataji. Prabhuji, one more question about calling names. So, Prabhuji, actually, always I want to remember Krishna. So, sometimes I call my Prabhu with Janardana like that. So, is it also offense kind of thing, Prabhu?
Oh, that's between the family members, but ideal thing is to refer, especially if the family members are devotees and initiated devotees, try to develop a habit to call them by devotional name. And in this case, even Janardana is also name of the Lord. So that's the advantage in especially Indian families. That generally the person has the name, even the Karmi name would be related to the name of the Lord. But as an etiquette, when we try to refer even our family members with appropriate devotee name, then we start seeing them in relationship with the spiritual master.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Actually, a good habit. It's a good habit to try to develop, referring our family members by their devotee names.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, in some families, the wife would not call husband by his name, so that is fine, right?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's actually the desirable thing, but in today's day and age, may not be, followed, or which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Hare Krishna. Can I ask a question?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
My Dandavat pranams. This is Tamila Mataji. Can you please share some your favorite Krishna Leelas or one of the favorite?
Well, it's difficult to decide when a person has multiple favorites. But
Okay.
actually, I personally like more Lord Chaitanya's pastimes over Krishna's pastime. And among Lord Chaitanya's pastime, the most favorite of mine is Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas. The whole event of pastime which leading Lord Chaitanya takes sannyas is one of my favorites.
Can you tell it, please?
Well, it's a very elaborate subject matter, but I'll try to briefly describe that. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is an instance where Lord Chaitanya was one time chanting in public. He was chanting the names of Gopi. He was calling out, Gopi, 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 Gopi. And some of the students who were actually his classmates of his age, one of them actually told Lord Chaitanya, Nimai, why are you chanting the names of Gopi? What benefit is there, according to scriptures, in chanting the name of Gopi? You should chant the names of Krishna or Hari. That is beneficial. So Lord Chaitanya was that time in the mood of, Krishna or Brijvasis, he was in the mood of Braja. He was actually remembering, feeling separation from Gopi. But as soon as he heard the name of Krishna or Hari, he actually entered into the mood of Srimati Radhika. And he started chastising the Brahmana boy. You want me to chant the name of Hari? Krishna? That rascal? No. And we started practically repeating the entire, that Brahmara Gita, where Radharani is actually, or no, not the Radharani, actually, Gopis are actually telling Uddhava. No, I think Radharani is speaking this to Uddhava. Yeah. So he started saying that Krishna, we have heard about this Krishna, Hari. He is so ungrateful. He appeared as Brahmana in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj gave him the entire, earth, or actually entire universe in charity. And in return, he actually captured Bali Maharaj like a crow. He's so ungrateful. Why should I chant his names? Then he said, before that, he appeared as he had appeared also as Ramachandra. And he was so handpegged by the beauty of Sita that he actually cut off the nose and ears of Surpanka, who was so affectionate to him, who approached him with great love and affection. He actually cut off her nose and turned her into an ugly woman. So you want me to chant the names of that Krishna? He, just because of being instigated by his friend Vali, killed Shugriv. He actually killed Vali. Just like a hunter, hiding in the bushes kills an animal. So, you want me to chant the names of that Hari? So saying this, Lord Chaitanya picked up the stick and started running behind the boy to beat him. And the boy, when he saw Lord Chaitanya in that angry mood, he actually started running away. With great difficulty, devotees caught hold of Lord Chaitanya and pacified him. And the boy ran away. So the boy went to his friend circle and he actually started, when the friend saw that, he was running, said, what happened? Why you are so much, running? From whom you are running away? And the boy explained that today I saw Nimai Pandit. He was chanting the names of Gopi and I told him that he should chant the names of Krishna. And he started blaspheming Krishna. I'm even afraid of repeating what he was saying. Because boy was completely ignorant of the Rasa Tattva. He didn't know what ecstasy or Mahabhav is. So when the boys heard, the other friends of this boy heard, they started actually laughing. But then they came to the decision that who is this Nimai Pandit who can threaten us like this? He may be Brahmana, but we are also Brahmanas. How can he, become a big boss or big king and try to punish us? So we should make this resolve that from next time, if he does something like this, we will get together and beat him. Now, this kind of contemplation, beating the Supreme Lord, even one thinks in the mind, implicates a person greatly. So these boys, by contemplating in this way, were actually taking shelter of demonic mentality, because demons only think of beating the Lord or killing the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya understood this because he's Paramatma in everyone's heart. So he actually revealed his heart to Nityananda Prabhu, saying that I came to this world to uplift people and deliver them back home, back to Godhead. But because of my own restless behavior, I have started, turning them away from me. Just like the medicine Pipli Khanda, which is, brought to cure the mucus in the body, starts increasing the mucus in the body. So Nityananda Prabhu actually became very grave. He understood that Lord Chaitanya, what he really means. Lord Chaitanya told Nityananda that I will take sannyas, because in those days, 500 years ago, of course nowadays this culture is more degraded, but in those days, any person who saw sannyasi immediately fall flat and offer obeisance to sannyasi.
Okay.
Lord Chaitanya thought that these boys who are thinking of beating me, as soon as they see me in the form of sannyasi, they will fall flat in front of me. They will offer obeisances. And because they'll be offering obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that will open the doors of spiritual world for them.
Okay.
So thinking like this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to deliver people who are thinking of beating him, he actually decided to take sannyas. And then, of course, there's a whole beautiful series of visiting different devotees and revealing to them that he's going to take sannyas. And culminating with the ceremony of sannyas. That's actually such a beautiful pastime.
Wow, interesting. Very much. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Tamala Mataji, for this question. Probably it sounds really nectarian from your mouth rather than reading it.
Chaitanya Bhagavad is full of nectar, Mataji, and especially maybe sometime we will discuss this whole pastime of course, we are reading now, we are doing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita every Monday. So sometime we will actually come to the part where Lord Chaitanya actually takes sannyas. That is such a beautiful pastime. So if no further question, then we can stop here. Today is Nirjala Ekadashi, so everyone can try to chant a few extra rounds if possible. And again, the focus should be more to fix our mind on Krishna. And whether chanting or reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you very much.
I'm reminding you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.